I went to coach a comp this past weekend. And so I coached like the U15 level,
Hmm.
and then there's the level above, which is like the step right below World Cup, where
Okay.
they're, yeah, where it's like all the people from the Olympics.
Oh,
This is kind of,
you train Olympians. You train.
I'm getting there. I'm getting
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I've coached a couple so
Hmm.
far, like here and there, but just helping out. And like still, I'm just helping out. Like I did this past weekend. We had a couple of my kids were doing move ups, a couple of my younger kids,
Hmm.
and there was also a coach out because of shoulder surgery.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Kevin Garnett say recently, it's like once you get like 2/3 in the season, like nobody's 100%. And I felt that shit.
That makes sense.
The coaches, it's the same too because we got to ski.
I'm about to say how does your body feel? Like I would almost feel like your body probably feels like Jeff Hardy's at this point.
Actually, kind of something like that. Um,
Okay.
it depends on the day. I try to take a really good care of myself.
Mm.
Like I pay for massages. Like I have a hot tub here. I try to
Okay.
stretch as much as I can.
Gotcha.
But like I still wake up some mornings and like just like really struggle to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Like it just takes a little while for my body to get going and to warm up and to not ache really badly.
Understood. Understood.
So I'm here. I'm coaching. It's really fun to be coaching new kids and at a higher level and to be around that higher level. And there's an Australian team here visiting.
Right.
An Australian team with a very cute coach.
I decided to
Big
get
blue,
comfortable because I know where this is going.
big blue eyes,
Mm.
and just the cutest little like chipmunk cheeks. Like she smiles, and my whole heart just like melts. Of course, that little thing in my brain is going like, I want to go to there. And we
Your brain
start.
feels like the scariest place to be when you see someone cute.
No, it really is pure. Like when I see somebody cute, like I
No,
swear, my first thoughts aren't perverted.
no,
Actually,
no, no.
most of my thoughts aren't perverted.
I feel like it's like you ever seen SpongeBob when he had the mini SpongeBobs in his brain, and then they
Yeah.
start to like frantically run around. Like I feel like it's like emotions of like, oh my god, look at her, and it just starts to run around in your head, and you see
Well,
somebody that's particularly good looking.
at some point, my brain, the little SpongeBob's in there,
Hmm.
were like, I need you to forget everything except for skiing, making out, and breathing.
Yeah, even forget red flags. Um,
You just keep on pushing.
yeah, they are. You forget colors.
On Friday, and so we chat a little bit. She was actually
Mhm.
very intrigued. Our conversation started. We broke the ice.
Okay.
My 2006 WWE lunchbox.
Oh Lord. Zach,
Actually,
I did.
it's probably not 2000. It's probably like 2010, 11. It had
Mm,
has John Cena, Sheamus, and CM Punk on the
That's
cover.
probably '08, anywhere from '08 to 2010.
For our YouTube watchers.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely 2009, 2010 because CM Punk has a shaved head.
Oh yeah, I got it at Tudikin. Oh no, it says at the bottom here, 2013.
13, 2013. That don't look
Yeah,
like no 2013. Whatever. Okay.
I got it at Tudikin, the number one largest pro wrestling merchandise store in the world. It's in Tokyo, Japan, where I've been.
I knew it was good.
And who would have thought that this purchase
Hmm.
would help me strike up conversation with a cute Australian girl? We get to chatting a little.
Okay.
Nothing much happens that day because training is always really, really busy.
Right.
Like because it's open heat style for mobile training. It's like literally you get up there, you do your run, the next kid gets the run, and my team is massive. Like the Vale team is like 20 plus kids, so there's not really any downtime like in between athletes.
It's like go.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the moment, like the first like training begins to the moment it ends, we usually have somebody on the course.
Okay.
We had so many, like we have a coach up top just to like organize and call them down.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't talk much then, and I can't hang out afterwards because I got to go see a film for my column. But the next day, we're hanging out, and we get to talking and flirting a little. She hits me with the most Australian phrase there is. Do you know what it is? I said something, and she said, "Get fucked." It's a terrible Australian accent, I know, but that
was a phrase.
Oh my god, yeah! Like every Australian, like you can guarantee two things with Australians: they can drink more than you, and they love saying "get fucked."
I never knew that. I learned something new today.
Yes. And once that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm in. It's kind of like the modern age crikey.
Okay. Wow.
Like
Get fucked is the modern age crikey. That is a fucking okay. Okay.
Somewhere down the line, Australians stopped saying crikey and just started saying "get fucked."
That is insane. Okay.
And we like agreed on something. I hit her with a pickup. This is not even a pick. I'm like, wow, we have so much in common. Let's date. She goes, yes, absolutely.
Wait, how did we accelerate this fast? When did we go past stop? When did we go past like yellow? Like
honestly, that's a pickup I use probably too much. Like where I'll be like, I'll wait until we have something in common, or we agree on something, and I'll say we have so much in common. Let's date.
Does it have a good success rate?
100%.
Then it's not bad. I guess it's not bad.
It always gets a giggle. It always gets a blush, and they always lean a little bit closer. Because you know what? It breaks that. It kind of breaks that insecurity of like, are we on the same page here?
Right.
You know, it makes the implicit explicit.
It's so funny to me because it's like, I know you, and as many of these conversations, I know you don't want it to have a success rate of like multiple. You just want it to have one. You just want that one. But it just also happens to be like, it just really is a good dating technique that lets people know we're on the same page. But it's not what you want. But it's not what you want. It's like, so
I know. I mean, I've kind of been at a crossroads lately about like, what is it that I want and what is it that I think I want?
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a bunch of fun dating around, and then I always say like, I want a girlfriend. But it's like, you know, we are nothing but our actions. Like, I don't believe there's any such thing as deep down.
Yeah.
I believe we are the only thing is what we put into the world. And it's like, fuck, am I following through on what I really believe is best for myself?
But then because one of those things like you kind of have to do this to kind of get out there to find the people that you want. So technically, you're doing the right thing, but it's just it's got to go about it a weird way. Because if you ain't out there trying to fish, you can't fucking get any fish.
Yeah. Okay. And then tragedy strikes.
Oh God.
She's a top coach for the day, and I'm a bottom coach. So in mogul skiing, yes, that's right. I'm a bottom, even in my coaching lifestyle. She has to go. So it's like you have a coach up top who starts you, and then you have a coach at bottom. who gives you the actual coaching and advice. I mean, they give you the coach at the top too, but at bottom, it's after your run, obviously.
Right.
But that means we're going to be separated all day.
Okay.
We separate all day. My heart yearns. Afterwards, we're waiting for awards. We start talking again. I'm like, when do you leave? Because she has to go back to Australia
Of
eventually.
course. I mean, yeah.
Monday. And I'm like, oh, but we just keep talking and I pretend like everything is fine and dandy.
What day is it that you met her?
Saturday.
Oh, the heartbreak. Oh, the heartbreak.
And I refuse to let it shatter our conversation and shatter the love too soon. And because I would have asked her to have a drink and a dance at the Après Ski Bar. There was a live band there that day. But on this day, I have to drive the van back with all the kids in it. Back to Vale. And so there will be no waiting around and flirting with the cute Aussie. And so she says, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I said, it's been great. And then we skied off in different directions. And she was relegated to the dusty dustbin of possible loves.
I feel like you've watched The Simpsons and you seen when Ralph got his heart broken on national TV. I feel like what she said Monday, like if like one of us was there, we could pause it in slow motion and be like, and here's the part where his heart breaks. And you just see Jack curl into a ball. I'm just like, ah. Like what she said Monday, it was just like, but no, our future.
You could just see it like fading away. Are there? I know. Yeah, go ahead.
There's like a Spider-Man meme where Mary Jane is disappeared in the smoke, and he's like, "No!" And I just feel like that was you.
I just don't. I mean, are there any? I know your girl's gonna listen to this, but pretend she's not, or pretend.
Well, I don't know if she do. So let's go.
Pretend she won't. Are there any girls that nothing happened? You don't have to name them, but that you still think about.
Jack, you're not really putting me in a great position here. You're not really like to put the veil out. People, this is 2 days before Valentine's Day. He's not really putting me in the best position here. But
I don't have a Valentine, so throw me a bone.
Actually, I said 2. This is 24 hours before Valentine's Day. I mean, honestly, huh?
No, you go.
Honestly, sometimes, yeah. Like, I mean, let's be real here. We're human. So sometimes, we can try to suppress a thought, but a thought's going to come back anyway. And, sometimes things can pop up where you're just like, shit, I wonder what would have happened. Or, damn, why was I stupid here? We all do that. Well, I know I do that. But sometimes.
That's all
but
I think about.
It's like one.
Is like what never happened, but what could have happened.
It's sometimes I do think about it, because so many of my connections with people are so random, right? Like even my start to my relationship is random, because we showcased at an art show together, but we never met that night. We ended up meeting 5 months later, after talking to each other through DM for 5 months every day. But we did not see each other at the show. So it's like, I've had those type of moments, you know what I mean? So sometimes you think about that stuff, you think about all the stuff that was like, what are other possibilities that are just like, who knows what this would have led to or where that would have led to? So sometimes, yeah, I do. But it's not that I think for her. It's not that I think that I want to be somewhere else. I'm pretty good where I'm at. I just sometimes think about how life works in very funny, mysterious ways.
The randomness of it all?
Yes, because I am happy and I love my partner.
For me, who has no partner, but who has been to Japan, I just think like, especially because, in reference to sport, just from moving around so much, it's like, what if I had just stayed in this place? And that goes back all the way to like in New York, where it's like, what
Right.
if I had just stayed,
Mm-hmm.
um, and stayed with that girl who I thought was the best for me, or stayed in Aspen and stayed with that writer who I started hooking up with when I started working at the Aspen Times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if one day, or even like girls I haven't kissed, but who you felt that electricity between,
Yeah.
and then before you could reach that catharsis,
Mm-hmm.
they went left and I went right. They zigged and I zagged.
Right.
I mean, that shit. I think that shit hurts the most. I won't say it hurts the most. That hurts more than like having somebody you truly love and it just not working out. Um,
Yeah.
but like I've had a bunch of breakups with a bunch of girls who I was kind of like, it was short term. It was under that 60-day mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could at least see where the potential had been realized, and it wasn't great potential, but it had been realized. Whereas with this girls, you're just left wondering, what if, what if, what if, why not?
And it's funny for me. I've had the opposite. Because I've had some those who should have just only made it past 60 days, and then we went past, and I was just like, did not match what I thought the whole contract was going to be. I tell you that much.
It's
So
like what? Yeah, it's mm,
sometimes it's
fun.
better to leave things as a what if, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the problem with realizing potential is that it's actuality and reality, and you can't make up things in your head
And that's the thing with potential. Sometimes we fall in love with potential instead of actual reality.
constantly.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Well, welcome to Wrestling with Romance. This is
yes.
Jack Simon. I used to do the podcast from bed, but I'm doing an opposites thing now. Now I'm going to do it standing.
Yeah. Jack looks like he's about to apply for a dating show right now. This your co-host, Life of Dean. Jack has his hair nicely gelled. It looks lovely. He got the vest on with the chain. Jack looked like if John Moxley was skinny with a lot more hair. So it's great to be with you guys again. How are you feeling? I know, unfortunately, your Australian love left yesterday on the plane back to the country. So
I should have met her at the airport, right? I, I should have said, "Let's fly away together."
Jack,
Yeah.
if I opened the group chat this morning to see that you was on a plane to Australia, the way I would have broken down laughing because I would have just been like, "This is so Jack."
Yeah, I hate the fact that nobody would be surprised.
No,
Like,
like
oh,
who
Jack
would
got on a
that be?
plane to Australia to try to win over an Australian mogul coach who we talked to for an hour accumulatively.
To be 100% honest, it probably wouldn't even be like 10% up. Wow, didn't see this coming. It might be like 0.5. It'd be like, I can absolutely see this. I just didn't see it happening the day before Valentine's Day. Like, that's it.
This is what happens when you don't have a Valentine.
That makes
It's
sense.
been, let's see, 5 years with no Valentine on Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah, that's okay.
That's weird.
That's weird. Thanks.
No, because when I started to have a Valentine's again is when you started to not have a Valentine's again because me and my girlfriend are going on 5 years together.
It's a cosmic trade.
Yeah. And then
We've
it
been
brought us here. Then
we've
it
been
brought us.
connected for much longer than we realize.
This is why we're here. Speaking of potential that it's like we fell in love with and now we're dealing with the sad reality of it. Scott D'Amore no longer being a part of Impact is a very weird reality that I don't know how to feel about.
I mean, I don't even know. It's because Impact to me is so like inconsequential, or in TNA is like
TNA, sorry.
so inconsequential. And it's like the tree falling in the forest
Mm-hmm.
deal when they have great matches. It's like if if a great match happens inside of a black hole, like did it really happen? And I've watched TNA shows and I've had a mildly good time.
Right.
Uh, but like there's also some things should just die.
Well,
And
here's the thing: to combat the some things may die, they actually, for the first time in a while, was getting a lot of mainstream momentum. And when I look at it very recently,
let's
they was
not
getting
throw around the word
they
mainstream.
were getting some. Okay, first of all, okay, whether we want to look at it or not, Jordan Grace being number 4 in the Royal Rumble, getting a really
Yeah,
sustained
yeah,
push,
that's
and
fair.
like looking good in the Rumble. She wasn't made to look like nothing. Didn't get any spots. Like she had some spots. Even Bianca Belair doing the KOD on the side of the apron to eliminate her was
Hmm.
actually pretty good, and
And
people was
and I
actually
wanted to,
interested.
for clarity too. Like I'm glad TNA exists.
Yes,
Like I think the more wrestling, the better.
and they had
Uh,
just announced Ali was about to be on the show. They had just announced all this stuff coming in, and it was just like, oh wow, TNA is going to be doing something great for 2024, and it just kind of, as bad as this is going to say, I want people to understand I love TNA, but the most TNA thing is to fire the man who's been pushing the goddamn flag up the fucking
right. I
hill.
guess I'm speaking more out of frustration. Where it's
Yeah,
like, don't ask me to take your company seriously if you can never get out of your own way.
but this
Throughout
time it's
your
not even the
entire
company.
history. It's kind of like the New York Jets of professional wrestling, where it's
You know
like,
that. You know something
yeah,
good about
like, and
that.
I grew up a Jets fan, and I quit being a Jets fan because you just get stuck in like, it's like the ending of The Shining where you realize like, oh my God, he's actually been here for 3 lifetimes. You're just like stuck in this fucking time loop of horror that, yeah, it's a different place and it's a different team, it's different management, but somehow, some way, they find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Like they cannot possibly get out of their own way and find success.
The weird thing about it is, usually it's TNA themselves. This time it's the parent company that ended up being the people in the way. It wasn't TNA, it wasn't the talent. It was the parent company just like, yeah, we're just gonna replace Scott. And
But you heard where the riff started from, right?
him wanting to buy the company.
No. It was with Braun Strowman.
Oh, that they just like he ain't gonna change nothing. Like bringing them in.
Well, yeah. Well, apparently they had the deal, and then they were like, "No, actually, we're not going
Yeah.
to give you the money." And he went ballistic.
Well, the thing was also, and this is what I heard in the new report over the weekend, he kept asking for money for a budget, which is what a company like that needs to keep growing, and they didn't
Right.
want to put the money in. And then he was like, "Hey, I want to buy the company, and I have a backer. I have something from I have everything from the bank," and they said no. And then they fired him. So then it was just like, and it was just
Just
like,
decided like you're more trouble than you're worth.
but it's also like you should want somebody that passionate about your company to run your company,
Yeah,
who believes in it, and he believes in it because he's been a part of it since 2004.
you would want somebody who's willing to sacrifice everything and bet everything on your
Yeah.
company,
I'm
running your company.
just, I'm so nervous about their future. Where I'm just like, man, he did a lot with the knockouts. He did a lot with like getting talent in that, like they rebuild their connection to like AAA, New Japan. Like, where does this all go now?
Yeah, I mean, it was like TNA. It seemed like they were never going to work with NJPW again
Yeah,
after
and
they turned Okada into Kato.
ooh, we don't talk about those pages in history. But yeah, and now it's like they have healthy relationships, but now it's like, all right, so where does this go? And they seem like they was maybe gonna have a WWE relationship, which I think now is probably up in smoke. So
Yeah, I
we
mean,
don't
yeah,
know.
Scott Demore was
Yeah,
the figurehead for that, and also like in WWE must be like, we don't want to deal with this.
mm,
Like we did it for the pop and sake, but and it was convenient. But like any extra work, why would WWE need to
yeah.
get into it? And Scott D'Amore also cut an incredible promo. One of the best in the game. I always loved when he would come out with the little fucking headphones around his
Phones.
neck. It was just a nice touch.
It felt real. It felt like it
It
was a
felt
real thing
real.
happening.
I also liked TNA's style of backstage segments.
Yeah.
They never did the TV watching thing
Mm-hmm.
where they're like awkwardly craning their fucking necks, and they never. And it was almost like skits.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a cool original way to do it.
It's a weird thing when it feels like a company has made something that was like perfectly fine into a mess.
Yeah, but that's TNA.
Well, that also segues me into my other company, who I think have made something so simple into a fucking mess that I guess they try to find something simple in now, but it's still a mess to me. So did you watch? I'm going to figure you didn't watch the kickoff last week. The kickoff, whatever press conference. Yeah,
clips. Hey, here's the thing, viewers and Deem and listeners. I, at 27 years old, who grew up in the age of Twitter and in the year of our Lord and Savior 2024, and it's now X, I'm not watching anything live for the most part, like let alone a fucking press conference. What am I gonna do? It's like the old Bill Burr joke about the NFL draft. It's like going to a graduation when you don't know any of the kids. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna have.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
I'm gonna have the whole fucking press conference, all the important parts and the things that happen afterwards, right there, conveniently slotted for me. I'm not gonna go and spend time out of my day where I could be skiing or making out or doing fuck all else and watch this press conference as they each awkwardly shuffle onto the fucking stage.
So I didn't fully watch it to give you an answer. By the time I was working, I was just started working on a new mural at a school. So by the time I even got on the train, the press conference had started, and I was just like, I'll watch it through Twitter. And then when I got home, is when I guess all the Rock, Cody, Seth, Roman stuff had started. And I was like, all right, I'll watch this. And that alone was 20 minutes. And then it had already been on for an hour. So I said, what the fuck was the other hour? So when I first just watched the Cody Roman stuff, it did not make sense. Because, well, it made sense. It's like, okay, we fucked up. You ever seen Dave Chappelle when he was the president on the Chappelle Show? You ever seen his Chappelle Show skit?
Yeah.
So you know how he caused a distraction by tipping over the water?
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Like, they was just like, the story don't make sense. Oh, shit. And then they just ran because they were just like...
Well, they were like, more like, here's the Rock, and got out of there.
Well, not even that. It was like, okay, this don't make sense. Rock, be a heel. And it was just like, all right.
Well, I do think this was more of the plan than you will care to admit.
I don't think so. Because, and here's the reason why. No one has still addressed what the fuck Cody said the Friday when he said, I'm not going to fight you at Mania.
I didn't say the plan was perfect. I didn't say it was not without its faults.
No, that's the plan. You should go from A to B to C.
I understand what they like. I understand the idea is we can't, like, we need something to do between here and Mania. And what is wrestling? What is a good story if not like sowing like the seed of doubt?
We already have doubt. Roman Roman has his fucking family. His family cheats in every match. But now don't believe.
Now you have The Rock, who is The Rock.
But
and
here's my
really
issues.
Fuck things up for Cody plausibly.
Here's my issues with the press conference. Especially, here's my issues with the Cody stuff, with the Cody Roman portion. One, I have no problem with Roman and them being heel. I actually like the heel version of Rock that we got on that press conference. I like Rock telling Triple H, fix that shit. If he talks about my fucking family again, I'm going to slap his fucking teeth out of his mouth. And this is what he said verbatim. This is word for word that got played on WWE Network. Is him saying,
practice that in front of the mirror?
No, I just remembered it because it was just like, oh, they said fuck on the actual Peacock. They said fuck on the actual Peacock. I liked that. I didn't like what they did to Seth. Seth feels like a cuck
Yeah.
that's just pretty much just watching his wife. Just pretty much, it's just is rough. It's just like, you're a punk, you're a bitch, you're a loser, and he just sits there in the corner, just like
Yeah.
it came to the
I
point.
mean, of Roman being like, Cody, like, you already gave a spot. Go over there to like the loser bracket.
The
It's like,
loser
how
bracket.
this is your belt. Like, this is your world title belt.
And you know what's crazy? Seth's response is right there. You never beat me when we had a universal title match.
But look, I understand as a heel and a villain, especially again
Mm-hmm.
in our year, Lord and Savior 2024, where
2024.
Twitter is now X. Um, that that's kind of part of being a heel is acknowledging the larger context
Mm-hmm.
uh, outside of just the kayfabe story. But you still like the person you're dunking on needs a response.
And the fact Seth is not responding was bothering
Yeah,
the shit out of me. So that was bothersome. Cody coming out, he didn't say, like, even last night I watched Raw for Cody's segment because I wanted to see, like, I was like, all right, let me give them some time to maybe clear this up more because they didn't follow up on SmackDown. They they barely did yesterday. I'm still like, you still haven't told us what happened when you seek counsel with The Rock, and what did
yeah.
he tell you that made you want to step aside the first time? Seth had had a really good promo, which is like a good response. A little bit too fucking late, but it still was a good response. Which leads me to believe, because there's now a teaser trailer video for WrestleMania going around. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's
No.
basically Rock and Roman facing down
Yeah.
Seth and Cody, which makes
Yeah.
me believe night one is probably going to be that. It's probably going
Yeah.
to be a tag team match. Now here's where I start to have an issue of, okay, we've made a real weird mess here. You want me to believe a man whose knee is messed up is about to wrestle 2 nights because you have an elimination chamber for who gets to face him one-on-one at WrestleMania as well. So that would mean he's doing 2 matches that weekend off of a bummed knee. And then for some reason we're going to watch Roman and Cody twice in 48 hours compete against each other in a match.
I mean, but they're gonna keep them away from each other.
Yeah, but okay, obviously Seth is there to take the pin. Let's be honest. Brock ain't
Yeah.
taking the pin. Roman ain't taking the pin, and Cody ain't taking the pin.
I could see Cody taking the pin.
I could see them. I could see Roman pinning Cody.
No,
Like
slowing
I
that
beat
out.
you. But then at that point, why is the women not getting the main event like the Royal Rumble stipulation says?
I feel like that stipulation was thrown out a while ago.
I don't, because just two manias ago, 2 manias ago they main evented a night. If I'm not mistaken, no,
Well, I'm
they
saying for
haven't
like
done this
both
since.
men and women's. Like, let's go back to like
No,
who was that?
the men have. The men have
No,
every
Seth
year.
Rollins and Brock Lesnar opened up
That was
that Mania.
35. That was 5 years ago.
But that's what I'm saying is like for a while that like
Okay,
you get the main event has been
that's
dismissed.
but that was also because Becky run the Royal Rumble and she main evented.
Yeah.
So you had that Drew main evented the year after. You had Edge main event the year after. After Bianca main evented the other night. Then you had Brock and Roman for the unification title main event. Then we had, oh, who won it last year? Oh, Cody. Then you had Cody, and this year you have Cody again. So is it the men get to main event, the women don't? Like, I need us to just let's clear this up, because also I don't like how they treated my girl Bailey. I don't know what Bailey did to anybody. I get it. She's always kind of like the little black sheep of the 4 horsewomen. I get it. But we gotta come on. Give her a little respect. She ain't even on the fucking flyer. She wasn't even at the kickoff. Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley and Becky faced off. Becky still got to win the elimination chamber. Why the fuck didn't we have Bailey? We have Bailey?
And
Bianca
Bailey's
doesn't
got the
even
better
have a match.
story. Bailey's got the more interesting story.
Bailey has a story. Here's the crazy part. Bianca was there to promote her show. Bianca ain't even got a fucking match.
Bianca's gonna get a match though.
She's in the elimination chamber, so it's either you making Becky beat her, and then it's Becky Rhea. But then still, while that is going to happen for Bianca, because Bianca is amazing and she is a company woman, we get that. You should have your Royal Rumble winners at your press conference. That's your kickoff to WrestleMania.
That I agree with.
Crazy enough, the person who called it out was CM Punk on social media. He was like, I want to make sure we don't forget that Bayley was a winner and she should be placed up there. Which is crazy. I'm like,
What if
already
he
we
fights
rocking.
another locker room?
Listen, there's a part, and I want you to go look at it. And I want you to, because you enjoy this. So CM Punk is talking, like, you see, like, after the whole the scruffle, like, Rock done slap Cody, and him and Roman are kind of, like, facing off with one another. CM Punk was like, if that was me, I'm just hitting the shit out of you. I'm punching straight in the, and you could see the big juggernaut shadow of the Rock, like, turn. And he's staring at CM Punk from the stage. And you just see this, like, ginormous shadow, like, I know you're not fucking talking. From a distance, it is the greatest image I have ever seen. Because you can see the Rock's physical body just turn towards him as he's talking, like, I just hit the Rock. I just pop him in the mouth. And you could just see the Rock look like, no, let's kill that. Because I come over there and beat the shit out of you.
What if he fights another locker room? I don't want to digress for too long, but if we're gonna say his name, like I've been thinking, dude, I think about this like every day. Like you have no idea. At least once a day, the thought of like, what if CM Punk like fights another locker room? Like that's the most amazing thing that's ever happened. That's so unbelievable. Like, what do you do then? Like, what is this man who considers himself like so holier than thou? That like does he look in the mirror and be like, huh, maybe it is me? But does he
He's not. He won't.
just keep on rolling on?
I love Punk, but he won't. Listen, he said Cody's being diplomatic. Seth is just being a bitch, basically, and he would punch the Rock, and I'm just like, man. I'm just
like, I don't know, like, if you really want to do this right now.
I'm just Big E was sitting there just like, I don't know. Like Big E said earlier.
No.
Big E said earlier, I'm just here so you don't get yourself in trouble. You like to say things. And then Punk started saying those things, and you can see Big E get uneasy in his chair. I'm just like, oh, shit. Here we go. Here we fucking go.
Again, yeah, it was all in kayfabe, but like,
what I would, if
everywhere he goes now, he has the threat of violence, of unprovoked violence.
He was saying it. He's like, I don't care if you're a president of the company, whatever, executive, I'm going to hit you. And I'm just like, we know this, Punk. We know this.
Maybe you shouldn't be so proud of this.
You should.
That you're a grown man. How old is he? In his 40s?
He's 45.
Okay. 45. So I'm 27. All right. I also train in combat sports.
Right.
I've learned like the last thing I want to do is fight. Like it is the worst possible resolution to a disagreement. Mm-hmm. Like unless you're in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
I've learned this lesson. I know that it leads to nothing good.
Mm-hmm.
And this man, who's 45, has not. And is just constantly finding new ways to be violent.
Like we know 90% of this is kayfabe, but there's also that there's also that like 5% where I'm just like I don't know, but there's also that 0.5 where I'm just like you're gonna end up fighting somebody again, aren't you? It's just like
which is LA Knight.
I would die laughing.
It's so fucking funny.
Okay, I would die. But yeah, I just feel like Bayley's been made an afterthought. Like she should have been on that. First of all, you're in Las Vegas. It's Super Bowl weekend. You can find a way, someone who's been an avid, loud 49ers fan, while you're passing around your gold WWE belt that's at every fucking like fanatic party, you couldn't find a way to integrate Bayley there. that doesn't sound like it makes sense. Like, you could have found a way to integrate Bailey, promote it, push one of your freaking Royal Rumble winners. Like, you put Cody, cool, we know Cody. And it's just
it's
not
something that WWE does a lot, where they're like, all right, this is enough.
And it's
Like,
just
they'll
like,
do fan service and they'll be like, great, it exists, you're welcome.
yeah, it is just annoying, man. Also, I've seen this dialogue. This is really not a great story. I need people to understand this. This is not a great story. Like, this is convoluted as fuck.
We're
Like,
talking about
this is
Cody and Rock again.
the Cody Rock thing is not a great story. It's convoluted because there's still parts of it I still don't get. I don't get, what did he tell you that was so captivating that you said, I'll step aside for WrestleMania?
I
We
mean,
still need that.
I like the story. I don't like that chapter of it.
But that's
That
like the
doesn't make
biggest
any
chapter. It's the biggest chapter.
That, well, it was more of like the catalyst.
It's the catalyst, because without that, you don't have the Rock here. So we need to know why. Like, without a why, we're just sitting here. Also, I need to know what made you change your mind back. You said the fans, but what about, like, I get it. You said the fans made them, they tell them you need to finish your story. They've been saying that this whole year. So what did The Rock do that was that impactful? Like, you guys, like, it still don't make fucking sense.
Maybe he called him a jabroni.
I guess Cody Crybabies must have fucking woke him up. I don't know, because that's what
Well, I
he's
guess
called
it kind
them.
of goes back to, it's like this is wrestling's royal family.
I mean, there was a part where Rock said this is the one and only true powerful, but
Right.
also,
and that's what flips Cody.
But here's the issue. Cody had wrote before that press conference, I have made my decision. So technically, I'm not even taking that, because you made your decision before the press conference. He said that at the press conference. You still got to explain to me why. Like, I'm just not getting off of that. Like, why? What made you want to not face Roman? What was all of this? And they kind of don't, they're like, if we don't answer it, nobody remembers. And I'm like, this is why I hate you guys sometimes. This is why I can't stand this fucking company. It's like, this is why I watch from a distance. It's like,
you can't get too involved in it.
No, because sometimes I'm just like, y'all know how stupid it sounds.
I saw somebody, like a WWE stand, write out like a notes thing, explain the story, and then of course with the accompanying tweet, like, it makes sense if you want it to make sense. It's like, but that's not how stories work. You're not supposed to come in with bias. Like, you're not supposed to be coming in like wanting it to make sense. You're supposed to be coming in as a blank slate. I mean, you're not supposed to be coming in not wanting it to make sense. You're supposed to be coming in middle, unbiased, and then there's supposed to be good art that hasn't make at least enough sense that you're invested.
Yes. I do not like comparing the companies. I think you can't really. But Swerve and Hangman with the double turn is a story where it's just like, I get it. I get why Hangman's going crazy. You broke into my fucking house.
And they love you for it.
And they love you. So I want to take away everything that you want and hope. And
this
I will
Hangman heel turn is going to be so good.
You know what's funny? Is he really a heel? Because technically he's justified. He has every reason to be this way. Because you cut a promo over my sleeping baby in his fucking crib after you broke into my home while my wife was possibly asleep. I have every reason to murder you. I have every reason to murder you. But yet they stand here. They do your dance.
In the context of pro wrestling and that universe, like, you always have to remember, pro wrestling exists. I always thought of pro wrestling exists in a parallel universe to our own. And each company has their own parallel universe.
Yes.
In the parallel universe of AEW, you can break into somebody's home and be cheered for it. It's a self-contained existence.
Yeah.
That has its own rules, where people, because they walk across the camera while
Mhm.
you're doing an interview. You now have reason to fight and have
That's
a
true.
3 months long storyline.
Mhm.
Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. That's how that
Yeah.
all started. And this one, the fact that you're breaking somebody's home, they still cheer you, and now you refuse to give them 5 more minutes in the
Well,
context of this universe and the rules of this artistic parallel universe, you are now a villain.
it kind of goes a little deep because you gotta go. Hey, you came out, called me out for not being motivated, getting a little chubby, getting a little happy and lazy. You called me out and made me feel like I've been basically bullshitting. And if you had my opportunities, you would have been 10 times the person I would have been. Then you beat me. Then when I tried to get a little bit of revenge to even it up, you broke into my fucking house. You did all that shit. And now I'm the bad guy because I don't want you to have all the successes that you said you would have if you were in my position. And you see how that's a story that we can get behind? We can get. You see how that's just fucking point A to B to C? Why? Because here's the thing. The Rock, like, I think they just, and this is always going to be my thing. I don't have a problem with a Rock Roman match. I don't have a problem with a Rock match. I have a problem with how we got here.
Yeah.
That is my main issue. No one can explain how fuck we got here. And I will maintain this until the fucking end of time. But I want people to see my microphone when they look at the YouTube. If he fucking won at 39, this would not be a goddamn problem.
Before we get off of it, do you think that tag team match sets up Roman Rock at 41?
No. I
Ooh.
think the outcome of night 2 sets it up. I think The Rock costs Roman. I think they win the tag team
But that's
match.
still like the tag team match. Something will have to happen to where he then costs Roman the title.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think something will happen in the tag team. Yeah, to play off what you said. Yeah, you're right. Something will happen in the tag team match, even though they'll win, and then Rock will cost Roman, and then either you have two choices. Either you're going to do it at SummerSlam or you're going to do it at 41. I think you do it at 41, where you set it up, and I think
I
you
don't think
set
The
it up
Rock's showing up for anything except for WrestleMania.
right. That's why, but I think you also set it up where Roman's a babyface because Rock is gonna stay heel, and they kind of put it up there on the T. There's a part where Cody's like, "If your grandfather saw you, he'd be so disappointed." And you can see Roman's face of just like, "Oh, maybe you might have a point." And I think also we're not going to just get 2 months of heel Rock, and then he's just going to fade away. He's going to
You
be
don't
the
think
most
so?
No. I think he's going to be someone who's heel that will make an appearance ever so often on TV. Not really, or make his presence feel felt. But I do think it'll be Rock, Roman, babyface heel for one of the nights next year.
I just don't listen. If The Rock is willing to go a
Mm-hmm.
full year being a villain in the media like he was on the Pat McCabe's show,
Mm-hmm.
bless his fucking heart. That dude loves professional wrestling because he does not need to do that. Like it can only be a detriment, and he's willing to do it anyways.
I mean, he's supposed to be making $30 million a year from this fucking deal. I think he has no problem if he's getting paid 30 M's. I tell you that much. Huh?
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. 30 M's with a fucking incentive if he gets into the ring. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. He's like, I'm 52. Fuck it.
Are you ready to get into this fantasy booking? Speaking of making people a lot of money.
So,
I have.
Jack,
You want to introduce it? You want me to introduce it?
Well, I was going to introduce it, yeah.
You introduce it.
Jack has come to me. You know, we've done a lot of booking segments here on Wrestling with Romance. I think
it's our thing now.
Yeah, it's kind of our thing. Booking, rebookings. So Jack actually wanted to rebook a pay-per-view. And I couldn't think of a pay-per-view I really wanted to rebook that heavily. to me, there's some pay-per-views, especially in this situation of like us doing AEW. I'm usually a
Yeah, I
fan of
wanted you
like,
to rebook this one, but you loved it so much, you were like, nah, I'm chilling.
it's not even that I loved it so much. I watched it, but I don't remember it enough for it to evoke an emotion where I want to rebook anything. You know what I mean? Like it was like I still wasn't fully into the AEW thing at the time, and I've never revisited the pay-per-view, so I don't really have any strong feelings left or right about it. I'm just kind of clear in the middle. So Jack is going to rebook All In 2019.
All Out.
All Out 2019.
I'm rebooking All Out 2019.
Mm.
Where this is the first this is the very first pay-per-view before Dynamite started.
Yes.
This is the genesis of AEW. And I'm also using it is.
Would you call that or Double or Nothing the genesis?
Yeah, I guess Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
I guess this is maybe this is the boulder rolling down the hill. Like Double or Nothing and All In was it getting pushed up, and now this is like we're creating momentum.
Gotcha.
Because this is where the championship
right.
crowned. The champion gets crowned. Where we got the little bit of the bubbly meme.
A little bit of the bubbly.
That was great. Possibly Chris Jericho's greatest ass addition to the company.
Yeah. Before he wore out.
Some of this is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this I've used to correct the timeline. So here we go. Bea Priestley versus Ivelisse. Bea wins.
Okay.
Sammy Guevara versus Wardlow.
This was a match on the show?
No, this is a new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to bring up All Out? And we could.
Oh no, just tell me what matches you switching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let me pull it up.
It's been about 5 years. So as you telling me, I'm like, I know my brain can be a little baked, but I don't think my brain is that baked. I'm like, I don't remember this.
Remember that much?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Here we go.
So
that was not so this is a new match entirely.
Okay.
What I'm keeping is
Mm-hmm.
So Collins Uncensored versus Jurassic Express, but I'm having Jurassic Express win.
Okay.
I'm keeping Jimmy Havoc versus Darby Allin versus Joey Janela in the 3-way Cracker Barrel Clash match, but I'm having Darby Allin win.
Who won originally?
Jimmy Havoc.
That's before,
I'm keeping Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks for the AAA World Tag Team. I have to. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I'm not changing that at all.
Has to stay on the card.
Yeah. Young Bucks are winning that. And I'm keeping Pac defeating Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Yes. So now what we're changing. Sammy Guevara versus Wardlow. Guevara is going to win. I'm changing the Casino Battle Royal into a Casino ladder match.
Ooh.
For the women's and it's not for the number one contendership, it's for the women's championship.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be our opening match. Like the other two matches we're buying. This is our opening match.
Ooh, but wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the women's championship match crowned on their first episode of Dynamite?
I know, I'm changing it. I'm saying this is now I'm making it this is the title match here.
So
because I want to go into Dynamite, we have our men's and women's championships already. We already got our champs. And we're doing Yuka versus Shida versus Rio versus Brandy Rhodes versus Penelope Ford versus Britt Baker. And then the Joker is going to be Awesome Kong.
Okay. I like
that. We're going to go with Yuka wins, which I understand may be a personal choice because the magical girl is the best. And okay, just I want to remind everybody real quick. All right. Before the pandemic happened, Yuka was getting the biggest cheers in the women's division. She was. Objectively, she was. Okay. I'm not crazy. You're fucking crazy.
I'm not arguing you.
Then we have Nyla Rose versus Mel.
Right.
Nyla's gonna win. Then we have Kip Sabian versus Sonny Kiss.
Right.
Sonny Kiss is gonna win. And then my coup de grace, in which I've completely altered the timeline, and we could all live in a happier world. Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes have the inaugural AEW World Championship match, and Cody Rhodes wins.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Why?
I don't know how I feel about that.
Tell me why.
I think Hangman losing to Chris Jericho plays a very important role in his story.
I think we can still have that story, though.
But I feel like because Full Gear Cody gets the title shot, I feel like you could just rewrite that Full Gear Cody wins.
So the way I rewrote it, because I had Hangman in mind,
right,
is that it becomes from I lost the title to I wasn't even on the card. And that's the story that's created.
But then that makes it, that's weird with his press conference speech.
That he's going to win the first.
That he's going to be the first AEW World Heavyweight
Well, this changes everything. Like, I guess, yeah, he would have to make a different press conference speech.
So you would have to change like both. You have to change the pre-timeline and you have to change the post-timeline.
Oh, everything's changing. This. I'm flapping my butterflies here. I'm flapping my butterfly wings here. Okay. And I'm alternating because I've cried twice in the history of professional wrestling. It was when John Cena came out for the first pandemic episode and told us it was all going to be all right. And it was when Hangman won the championship.
That was magnificent.
That was unbelievable. So I want that story to happen. I want him to have that moment as much as everybody else. I think you can still have that moment even with him not losing that match. Because I also believe that Cody would have been the best inaugural champion. He would have better represented what AEW was about. He would have been a better face for the company, and he would have stayed.
Yeah, I hope. I don't disagree with that. I still think, like, I get why they went with Jericho first. Like, I never knocked that idea. Even though nowadays, especially if you were in our wrestling group chat, you would think I am the biggest despiser of Chris Jericho known to mankind. But I get why they went with him first. And I don't even really hate Chris Jericho. I just think Chris Jericho needs to do the thing he used to do.
I get it. But it always rubbed me the wrong way. And again, I get it. But it always rubbed me the wrong way that you're supposed to be a fresh take on professional wrestling. You're supposed to be the Rebels championship, the Rebels promotion, and your first champion is a WWE retread. Which I understand is a bit a harsh way to put it, but also I would want my guy to represent what your world champions represent what your company is all about.
Yeah, but also that's if you have a wrestling company that's not national television. If you have a national televised company, you kind of want to face that somebody can be like, oh, I remember this. And look, I get it. I get both points. Do I knock either point? No, I get it. And I think the best thing was that that's why I say I think Cody winning at Full Gear just works perfectly, especially from the undeniable, that whole promo segment. Like, I need him to get those promo segments to like.
But I don't want my first champion to like hold it for a pay-per-view cycle. It's not a good way to set up prestige for your championship.
Well, to me, that's why I'm just like, all right, because All Out is in September. Full Gear is usually October, November. That's a month. You get the TV. You get that first Cody promo to like the Simply Undeniable. And I was just like, you get that promo and you put the belt on him. I think they should just put the belt on him. There. Now, do I knock yours? I just need to see how the whole because I feel Hangman's story is so fucking perfect how it is. That is where it throws me off. because I do feel Hangman's story is perfect how it is, and this timeline changes that, and I'm just like, how do I feel about that?
What if he loses at Full Gear?
Hangman?
Hangman, yeah.
See,
Was that the first pay-per-view, Full Gear or Revolution?
No, Revolution was right before the pandemic. It's Full Gear.
Okay.
It's still the thing of, because, all right, he said he was going to be first. He won the Battle Royal to be first at Double or Nothing. Like, to be in the match, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we're changing Double or Nothing results, which means also we're changing a lot of results here. We're changing a lot of results.
I mean, we're fantasy booking. That's what we're doing. That's what we do.
But
here.
it's like also
like
it's
I still see him having the tag team titles with Kenny. Like the idea here is that he's always been the other member of the Elite, and so he becomes the forgotten member of the Elite. And then you have a storyline for the first episode, where he comes in and goes, Cody, you've always seen me. I was always the forgotten member of the Elite, but you've always seen me as the future of the Elite. Let's prove it at blah, blah, blah. Maybe you have him fight a heel for the number one contendership, or actually definitely you have him fight a heel for the number one contendership, maybe Pac. He wins the number one contendership and gets the match. Comes in on the horse and then he fucking loses, and then it becomes this, I was forgotten for a reason, and that's how he goes on his whole alcoholic spiral.
I'm gonna say maybe. It's hard, man. It's just because it's my favorite story. It is one of my favorite stories in the last few years, and it's just like, whew. I just think I always thought I just wouldn't change much, but
that was also my biggest hang up. I decided that the story could still work in this new context I've created. But let me know if you think you can do it better. Leave your comments. Send us your own booking. I'm Jack Simon. Send me your booking at jack.simon at Twitter or Instagram. And check out my website, jacksimonmakes.com.
Yeah, and if you have any other ideas, you want to give us your thoughts on Jack, or you maybe want to hear us do a fantasy book and maybe a pay-per-view, something of that nature. It could be any pay-per-view. Just don't ask me to do Royal Rumble 2014. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Wait.
Don't ask me to do that, and don't ask me to rebook Jinder Mahal title reigns. I'm pretty good on all that. But you can follow me at Life and Team on everything. Make sure to follow us at Wrestling with Wromance on Instagram, Wrestling Podcast on Twitter. Yeah, that's it, man.
I'm going to send one more out there. If you have a romance story, a story of love, whether successful or not, send it in. We'll read it out.
Yeah, you know what? We would love for that. If you have any romance story, good or bad, send it to us.
We'll give you anonymous.
We'll give you anonymous. We'll do anonymous. You know,
I understand not everybody is as shameless as I.
Yeah, maybe we might have to start like a Patreon or something like that, where people can just drop their stuff in just quietly, share their love, and we share it and mix it up with some romance. But we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.